Hello all. Before we begin the video, let's discuss CloudFoundation. CloudFoundation is the premier online training platform to help individuals and organizations gain knowledge and skills in the ever-growing cloud computing industry.
Perform identity request maintenance. So this task is responsible if there is any access request. If you want to do the data cleanup again, if you want to verify the provisioning transaction, so we can execute this task. Okay. Okay, apart from that, yeah, this remove orphan role request, these are related to roles. So based on your requirement, you can use. If you want to synchronize, if you want to analyze any role, you can execute this. So that's all we have. These are the out of the box tasks what we have in SailPoint. So does anybody has any question? What have we talked about so far? I hope you guys have executed a couple of tasks so far. Okay, now let's talk about standard property of the task. So task name, each and every properties will have their standard properties, right? So name, you can provide the task name and it should be unique. Description, you can clearly mention what is the purpose of creating this task. Allow concurrency. What does it mean? Any idea? So let's say I have executed this task. The task has been executed in the background. Go to task results. Could see here the task is running. It's pending, which means it's already processing. Now, if you want to execute the same task again, what will happen? It will throw an error. Error launching task, an instance already running, so you cannot rerun. Got it? But there may be some scenario where I have to execute the task couple of times, but I won't come across this scenario. But if you want to execute the task multiple times within a time interval, so you can enable this allow concurrency. So now I have saved this task. Still the task is running here. AD account aggregation. If I'm going to execute right now, it won't throw an error. It will get executed. See, it didn't throw any error. So if you want to execute the same task multiple times without throwing an error, yeah, we can utilize this allow concurrency option. So require sign off if you want to complete this task whenever the task is going to get complete, and if you want to trigger any notification email or if you want to send any reminders to the sign off parties, yeah, we can utilize this option. But in real-time environment, I never seen the require sign off has been enabled. Post, let's say this task is going to take more time to run on, to execute, to complete. In that scenario, if it is going to impact the server status, server performance, so what we can do, we can segregate this task and we can allow this task to execute on a particular server where the CPU usage, memory usage is very less, so that it won't impact the task server. You got it? So we can, if you want to run this task on a particular server so that it won't impact the system performance, so we can utilize this option system. So number of runs and average runtime, it's simple one. How many times the task has been executed so far, and what is the average runtime? And if you want to reset this run statistic, yeah, we can do this. It will refresh. It will remove this. And previous result action, what does it mean? Anyone? So previous result action means nothing. Let's say today we have executed this account aggregation task, correct? Okay. So this object export task today we have executed, it got completed. It ended with failure, but the status is completed. If I'm going to execute the same task tomorrow, what will happen with this existing object? Is it going to delete, or are we going to keep this yesterday task result object and we should keep today's object also, today's task result object also. So in that scenario, we can choose this option. If you want to keep the existing, yesterday's task result, yeah, you can rename. If you want to rename the new task what we executed today, so you can utilize this option. Or if you want to override, which means if you want to delete the yesterday task result and you want to keep the today's one, yeah, you can use this today delete option. You guys got it? Okay. So let's talk about this email task alerts. You have 2000 application, so which means you have 2000 account aggregation and 2000 group aggregation tasks. Out of 4000 tasks, there are some critical applications where you need to monitor and you need to take a decision immediately if there is any task is going to end with failure. So in that scenario, out of 4000, it would be very difficult to find which task has been ended with failure and warning. In that scenario, we can use this option. So whenever this critical application task is going to get failure, the email should get triggered to this respective person. So here you can add your name, your team person. So whenever the task is going to end with failure or warning, or irrespective of the task status, whether it's failure, success, warning, you have to send trigger email. So email will be triggered and you will receive an email about this task status. So we can easily monitor and we can take a decision immediately if anything goes wrong. So that's all about standard properties. Okay, the email will be triggered, I agree. But how come we are going to, whatever matter we are going to mention in the email, we have to write somewhere, right? So go to debug page. We have an object called email template. So now here I have chosen task status. So whenever there is a failure on this task, email will trigger and that email template will be task status. So open the task status email template. Here you could see. So email subject, you have to mention. So email subject and line number 49, you could see the task name is going to print and the status is going to print. Status could be failure, status could be success, status could be warning, whatever it may be. Okay. This is not Bean shell language. This is a velocity language. So in the email subject, this is how it's going to print. And in the email body, the task status, if the task is success ended successfully, this is OR condition, or the status ended with warning. If the status ended with terminated, then it's going to mention terminated. If the status ended with error, then it's mentioned ended with error, something like that. And started time, completed time, it's going to print. Okay. If there is any error message, it's going to print. For more details, you can click on this link. So this is how email is going to trigger to the respective parties. Email subject and email body I have explained. You got it? Signing off.
Yeah. So to whom this email will be forwarded? Wait, like.
So here we have email recipients, right?
Okay. So whenever the failure occurs, those emails will be sent to this particular.
Correct. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about one scenario. Guys,
Can we
pay
import
attention.
from our local machines the emails? Can we import emails?
Come again?
Can we import email templates from a machine, or else can we import the emails?
We can import email, but the first condition, it should be in the XML object. In the XML object, there should be some velocity language. Yeah, in that scenario, we can.
Okay.
And now let's talk about this refresh identity cube task. If I'm going to execute this task by enabling a couple of arguments, the task is going to examine all the identities one by one. So now it's refreshing 45th identity. Now it's refreshing 90th identity, Joanne. Now 130th identity, Ruby. 163. It got completed. So this task refresh 180, this task is examined 188 identities and it took 24 seconds to complete. Think about real-time corporate environment. They may have millions of users. If you're going to execute this task, how long it's going to take? Like a couple of hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, correct? But now you are an administrator, you are a support engineer, maybe you're a developer, you are working on some activity, you want to update manager status for a couple of identities, maybe one single identity or maybe a couple of identities. So what will you do in that scenario?
And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.